Hey guys, Luke with Logical Lacrosse here, and welcome to part 3 of my NCAA Lacrosse Week 3 review. As always, I will have the games I talk about in the description below, so you can check out, see if I am talking about the game you want to know about. I also have 2 other parts before this, so if it's not in the description below for this video, definitely check it out in the other 2, it will be there. But otherwise, let's get into this. So first game, St. John's at Hartford, not Harvard, but St. John's had a really good game against Rutgers last week. They really blew it, to be honest. I have St. John's as being a really good team, actually. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and they win this game 18-10 on the road. Really good. Total attendance of 391 people, so thank you to those people who showed up. Shots in favor of the Big Red, 54-35. Really good on turnovers for both teams. Only 12 for St. John's, 11 for Hartford. Ground balls, 34-32 in favor of St. John's. Man up, 2 for 6 on man up. I almost said power play, but 2 for 6, 33%. Definitely needs to be higher, but not terrible. But they definitely like to convert on a couple more, especially when they play the better teams. Hartford does deserve credit, 2 for 2, really good. You definitely want to be scoring and taking advantage of your man ups. A lot of teams do not value their possessions on those, and it costs them games. So I think Hartford's going to benefit from that. So players of the game, Jonathan Huber, monster game, 5 goals, 2 assists, 7-point game. Really can't complain about his play. And Colin Duffy, he had 4 goals, so really good play from him as well. I'm sure their girlfriends were excited. But for Hartford, I got 1 point of the game, and he definitely earned it. This guy was 90% of the total offense. Oh my goodness, Dylan Jinks, if you're watching, you might be the player of the week with 8 goals, 1 assist. I mean, that guy literally was the offense. St. John's cannot stop him, so it's just a shame that his team loses by 8 when Jinks puts up such an effort like that. But St. John's definitely was more talented, had more depth, better team overall, and it'll be interesting to see how they play moving forward, but I think they're going to be a threat to win their conference. So next up, Colgate, surprise team of the year, and a lot of people are wondering how they're going to follow up after that monster upset over Syracuse, and they follow up pretty well. Started slow though, I will admit, they started slow, but they go on the road at Binghamton, and they win 16-10 in front of a total of 378 people, so thank you to those people who showed up. Shots in favor of the Raiders, 43-35. Both teams had 17 turnovers, way too high, especially for Colgate. They play Maryland next. You've got to have that lower for Maryland. Colgate also really bad on the clears, 13 of 18. They struggled. I think they were a little sloppy after that Syracuse win. I think they're a little too big-headed, and that is not going to cut against Maryland. Maryland's definitely better than Syracuse, I would say. So Colgate's gotta work on that. But ground balls, they win that 27-23, and again, just kind of knocking on. I don't mean to knock on Colgate. I mean, I think they're going to actually surprise more teams this year, but if they want to play with the big dogs and do it consistently, not be a one-hit wonder, they got to improve on stuff like this. 1 for 6 on the power play, or man up, terrible, just awful. You got to at least make it 3 for 6. But the man down defense does deserve credit. They held Binghamton 0 for 2. Players of the game, Nick Petkovich, 4 goals, 1 assist for Colgate. With Sam Cleveland, he had 3 goals, 2 assists. For Binghamton, I pegged Joe Licata. He had 3 goals, 2 assists. Really good game for him, 5-point game. And Kevin Winkoff, 2 goals, 1 assist. So yeah, Colgate, they got to keep applying the pressure. They got everyone's attention now. I guarantee you Maryland is not going to be overlooking them. They've had some closer games than they probably should have had. So Maryland's going to be fully aware of how good Colgate is, and Colgate cannot afford to be sloppy on certain aspects of their play. So this next game, not competitive at all. St. Joseph's at Fairfield. St. Joseph's takes this 21-10. Really kind of disappointing. Fairfield, the Stags have really kind of been on a downward slope, it feels like, for a couple of years now. I remember they were a lot better when I was in middle school and early high school. I don't know what's up with that program, but definitely struggled again in front of an attendance of 1,024 people. So great turnout, though. So it's a shame they couldn't get that win. But shots in favor Oh, excuse me. Shots in favor of Fairfield, which made this crazier. 47-35. So excuse me for that little blunder. But what I was going to get to was for St. Joseph's was their accuracy was insane. 35 of their shots, 28 of them were on goal. I mean, that's just insane. I can't believe that. More shots were on goal than they were missed. So they missed 7 shots. I mean, crazy. Really good. You gotta give them credit for that. Their accuracy work they do with the shooting definitely deserves credit. If I could, that'd be my player of the game. That's my stat of the game. Turnovers too high for St. Joseph, 17. Only 13 for Fairfield. Pretty good. Clears, sloppy both teams. 13 of 18 for St. Joseph, 14 of 18 for the Stags of Fairfield. Really bad. Ground balls in favor of St. Joe's, 42-30. Man up, great man up, 3 for 4, whereas the Stags only went 1 for 5. They got to improve on that, but they were clearly overmatched in this game. Face-offs also in St. Joseph's favor, 23-11. And my players of the game, we'll start with St. Joseph since they were on the road. Ryan Doran, 9 goals and 1 assist, 10-point game. Like, you got to win the player of the game when you do that. And Shane Fable, who won't get as much love, even though he had an amazing game as well. He had 5 goals. Player of the game for Fairfield, I'm giving with Dylan Beckwith. He had 3 goals to assist. Yeah, Fairfield was overmatched in this game. St. Joseph's wasn't tested. We'll have to see. Though I think they're good, but we'll really get an idea of them when they play some better opponents. So next up, a battle of 2 teams that played Maryland tough and both lost. I actually thought Bucknell was going to take this one. I was a little more impressed with them. But Richmond takes it. So congrats to Richmond. Richmond on the road out in Pennsylvania wins 13-11 in front of 457 people, which is pretty good, especially in Bucknell. It's a pretty small school. I've been out to that area. It's really nice. Really great area. But what really killed Bucknell was they lose the fourth quarter 6-3. You can't slip in the fourth quarter. You don't want to be the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl a couple years back against the Patriots. You got to win the fourth quarter. That's the most important quarter because it's the final one. But shots were in favor of the Spiders, 37-34. 15 turnovers for Richmond and 18 for Bucknell. I think 18 turnovers for Bucknell really made a difference in a 2-goal loss. Ground balls went in the Bison's favor, 35-32. Man up, good for Richmond, 1 for 2, 1 for 3 for Bucknell. Definitely want to get one more, but converting 1 every 3 isn't bad. But you want to be above 50% or 50% at a minimum. Players of the game, we'll start with Richmond. Ryan Lansbury, he had 4 goals, 1 assist. Really good game by him. And Teddy Hatfield, he had 4 goals, 2 assists. So really good games by those 2 guys. And they're really the reason why Richmond was able to win on the road. Players of the game for Bucknell, Tommy Sopko, he had a hat trick, and Matthew Barkauskas, 3 goals, 1 assist. So really good even matchup by both teams, but Richmond just made a couple more plays, but I think both teams will be good moving forward. So next up, Brown hosted Quinnipiac. Wasn't close at all. Brown wins 20-7. Quinnipiac, in the midst of that whole investigation, I don't know what's going on with that, but really sad that's happened to that program, and they were just no match for Brown. Total attendance of 537 people, so great support for the Brown Bears. Shots, 60 shots for Brown, 37 for the Bobcats. Quinnipiac got 17 saves on net, and you'll see about my player of the game. That was great, though, to see that. Really should have been a lot more goals for Brown. For turnovers, 30 for the Bobcats. Awful. That is absolutely awful. I can't believe I don't even understand how a team could turn it over that many times. It's like you have to try, honestly. I don't mean to pile on them. I mean, I'm sure their team's great guys, coaching staff's great, and all that, but come on, you cannot be turning over 30 times. That's just absolutely terrible. 17 turnovers for Brown. For Clears, really struggled for Quinnipiac again, 14-27. Just really struggled. That's where most of their turnovers honestly came from. In 14-7, I mean, basically 50% conversion rate. You were going to probably lose all your games when you do that. Browns kind of struggled too against a weak opponent. 22 of 27. They'll have to clean that up when they want to play the tougher Ivy League opponents. Ground balls in Brown's favor, 50-32. And 8 penalties on Brown, but it did not matter because The Bobcats just couldn't do anything right, it seemed, in this game. The Bobcats were only 1 for 8 on the man-up, so credit Brown's defense for that as well. I mean, when you give up 7 goals, that's a great game. And Brown was 3 for 6 on the man-up, so 50%, really good. Quinnipiac, I got 1 player of the game, Nick DiMuccio. I kind of mentioned the stat earlier, but he had 17 saves. Game should have been way worse. Probably should have been 30-7, honestly. So he really is the only guy I can think of that deserves credit for an effort like this. Brown, Luke McCaleb, 3 goals, 5 assists. Great game by him. Really couldn't be stopped. And Darian Cook, he had a hat trick. So Brown wasn't tested. We'll have to see how good they are later on. Quinnipiac really struggling. I know that whole investigation's probably made a difference, but they gotta really work on the turnovers and the clears next week if they want to at least be competitive and not have this season be a total wash. So this is probably the game a lot of you were looking to hear about. This was definitely the game of the week. I didn't think it was going to be a game of the week, especially after how Penn State destroyed Villanova, but Villanova on the road spoils the defending champs opening day, number 1 Yale, loses at home 11-10 in overtime in front of 1,274 people. Wow! So that's the second year Villanova's beat Yale and second time they beat them in overtime. But really good game. Great game. I actually saw the end of this game. I flipped to it. Hopkins and Loyola was my game of the week, but I saw the score and I was like, oh, I can watch this game. I'm going to watch the end. And wow, I'm glad I watched it. So shots 42-44 in favor of Yale. Pretty good in turnovers for both teams. 13 for Villanova, 15 for Yale. A little too high for Yale, but that was also their first game. Ground balls, Villanova wins 33-30, and this last couple that they beat Yale by came in overtime, which definitely made the difference. And face-offs, T.D. Erlin out of Albany did really well, 18 for 7, but he didn't win the one that counted. So you gotta give credit to Villanova Fogo on that. And for the man-up, 1 for 2 for Yale, 1 for 3 for Villanova. So Villanova want to get 1 more, but pretty good on the man-up. This was just a really good game, honestly. I mean, really good game. But players of the game, Dan Fisher, 7 of 18 for face-offs. Now you're wondering, why is he the player of the game? He didn't really do that amazing on the face-offs. I mean, Erling won the face-off battle. But the guy, he won the face-off in overtime. Yale never got the ball in overtime. So he made the play when it counted. Doesn't matter if you go to overtime, but you've lost every face-off, but you win the face-off in overtime for your first one, and then your team wins, you're the player of the game because you win the one that counted. So congrats to him. Amazing win. It's probably for Villanova, and great play by him. Probably won over the best Fogo in America. And Colin Crowley had 2 goals, 1 assist, so he's my other player of the game for Villanova. For Yale, T.D. Erlin, I know he lost that face-off in overtime, but 18-25, really good. I mean, the dude definitely played his heart out. And Jackson Morrill, 2 goals, 3 assists. So, Yale, they got Penn State next. And before this game would have happened, I would have definitely said, oh, Yale's going to win. But now I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how they play moving forward. But great rebound by Villanova. They're definitely back as a threat. I thought they were going to be a little down after that Penn State game, but they don't seem to be down anymore. So great job by that coaching staff to get a monster win. So another good game. Maryland at Penn out of Philadelphia, and Maryland takes in overtime 13-12. Maryland, every game has been close. They seem to be a little bit of a dead man walking, if you ask me, but they got this win in front of 1,004 people, so great turnout for Penn, the Quakers. Shots in favor of the Quakers, 46-41. Ground balls, they killed Maryland in the ground balls. I don't think I've ever seen a team only have 10 ground ball wins, but I have now. Maryland, 10 ground balls compared to 29 for Penn. Pretty pathetic, if you ask me. You gotta win more than that. I mean, granted, a lot of these came from face-offs, as Penn won the face-off battle 21-6, but I don't know what happened with Maryland. But man up good for Maryland, 2 for 3, and good for Penn, 1 for 2. Players of the game, Jared Bernhardt, 2 goals, 4 assists. He's had another good game. He's definitely their player. He's the guy now for that offense. And the reason Maryland won, Danny Dolan, 18 saves. He put the team on his back. They better be buying him dinner. Because he's probably the reason I'm not talking about Maryland and Yale getting upset. For Penn, Shame they couldn't close it out, but they had a great game. And the players of the game: Adam Goldner, 3 goals, 1 assist, and Simon Matthias, 1 goal, 3 assists. So great game. Maryland's got Colgate next. That'll be an interesting matchup. Colgate's already slayed one giant, so it'll be interesting to see that game. But Maryland, if you're a fan of the Terrapins, there's got to be some alarm bells. I mean, they really, last year you didn't really see these kind of games by them. So it'll be interesting to see if they can improve or if they continue to kind of be a dead man walking. So next up, Air Force hosting Marist. Air Force got beat bad by Denver last week, and Air Force rebounds really well. I watched part of this game, and they definitely looked so much better. Way better effort. They flew to the ball quicker early on. Like, you could tell there was a massive difference. 12-6, Air Force takes it, so congrats to Bill Wilson, a really good mentor of mine, on your first win as the official head coach of Air Force. I know he got some wins as the intern last year when I was there, but this is the first time he won as the official head coach, not just acting head coach. So congrats to him. Really happy for the boys at Air Force. They really dominated, so it attended 263 people. Not bad. It was really ridiculously windy out in Colorado Springs, so that definitely hurt the attendance. But 8-1 at halftime for the Falcons. I mean, this game was not really competitive, if you're asking me. The only knock I'd say is they only got 4 goals in the second half, so you got to do better on that because they lost the second half. And that will come back to bite you against the better teams, especially in the SoCon, such as Richmond and High Point. Shots in favor of the Falcons, 43-22. 19 turnovers for Air Force, definitely too high. 24 for Marist. They forced a lot of turnovers out of Marist. Clears, Marist really struggled. We're using their turnovers were so high. 11 of 17, really bad. Air Force, perfect, 16 of 16. So that defensive end, definitely a strong point of the team. And they cleared it really well. The midfielders definitely stepped up this week, which I was really happy to see. Air Force wins the ground ball battle 25-20. Both teams get 11 face-off wins. One knock on both is both teams failed to score on the man up. 0 for 5 for Marist and 0 for 3 for Air Force. So you gotta get goals on the man up. You just have to. It's not negotiable. So both teams are going to be definitely working on that in practice. So player of the game, we'll start with Marist. Joe Tierney, 2 goals, 2 assists. And for Air Force, I got Trey Lervick. He had 4 goals. I think that's his best game ever. If it's not, it's one of his best games. So great for him. He's a really hard-working kid, really nice guy. And Matthew Swartz, who I think is the best attackman for Air Force, he had a good game, 2 goals and 1 assist. So again, congrats to Bill Wilson on your first win as the official head coach. And it'll be great to see them play Cleveland State next week. So this was a surprise. I predicted this would be a blowout to my friends, but not going this way. Syracuse beats the crap out of Albany, 13-5. This was not even competitive. It's like Albany had the high school team out of Albany play Syracuse. It was that one-sided for the Orange. So again, 13-5 in front of 4,904 people. Definitely a surprise. Shots in favor of Syracuse, 48-34. Turnovers, 17 for Albany. Really bad for a team with that talent level. 10 for Syracuse, really good. Syracuse played way better this week. Ground balls, they killed Albany, 44-24, and they were 3% on the man, pretty good, but also 7 penalties for Albany. I saw a lot of them. They're just terrible by Albany. Albany was 1 for 3, though, so that's not horrible. But yeah, Albany was just awful. The effort was terrible. I mean, I don't mean to bag on them, but it was just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm still not really sold on Syracuse. I think this isn't saying how great Syracuse is. I mean, they're definitely better than what their game showed against Colgate, but I think this really shows how bad Albany is. They looked horrible. I mean, the effort was terrible. Even the announcers kind of pointed it out when I was watching it. I mean, Nanticoke has nice goals. He had 2. But really, I mean, he stood there on the crease, and he didn't do anything to try and get open. I mean, I was just kind of confused by the overall effort. It was sloppy, a lot of penalties. There was the head coach, cussing out the ref, got a penalty. Yeah, I mean, just an awful effort by Albany overall. But you got to give credit to Syracuse. They came to play. I think Albany thought they were going to sleepwalk through this game after how bad Syracuse looked last week. But Syracuse was definitely motivated. But players of the game, I only got one for Albany. They really don't deserve any, but this guy did play well. Nate Syracuse, 16 saves. This game should have probably been a lot uglier. Syracuse could have had 20 goals, but this Syracuse really kept it not respectable, but he did well. I mean, more saves than goals given up. It's always a good game. And for Syracuse, I got Bradley Voigt, 6 goals, 1 assist, monster game. Albany couldn't do anything to stop him, and they couldn't do anything to stop Brandon Curry, 2 goals, 3 assists. So great job to the Orange. They got Army next week, who I think is going to be a lot better opponent to play than Albany. So that'll be interesting. Albany, we're going to have to see how they rebound. I mean, I don't know what they were doing this offseason, but it didn't look like they were working that hard. I mean, just a terrible opening performance. That's definitely the worst opening performance I've seen this year. But we'll see how they rebound. I think they'll be fine still. They got a lot of talent. So, long year ahead of us. They'll be fine. So, our final game this week in the D1 slate, Notre Dame hosting Detroit Mercy. Not competitive at all. The Fighting Irish win 19-6 in front of 1,177 people. They had 36 shots compared to the Titans, 21. 27 turnovers for Detroit Mercy, ridiculously high. And 20 for Notre Dame, which is awful for Notre Dame. I'm sure the coaches are not happy with that. They're going to be working on that. Ball security. Ground balls, Notre Dame dominates, 34-14. Man up good for both teams. 1 for 2 for Detroit Mercy, 2 for 3 for Notre Dame. So, good game by Notre Dame. Detroit Mercy, I got my player of the game for them being Matthew Van Galen, 4 goals, 1 assist. And for Notre Dame, Brian Costabile, 5 goals, 1 assist. He's a really good player. And Brendan Gleeson, he had a hat trick as well. So, really just a good game by Notre Dame. Detroit Mercy, they're good. They're going to be tough in their conference. They were just completely overmatched in this game. It'll be cool to see how good the Fighting Irish really is moving forward, but a great opening win. So guys, that'll do it for part 3 of my NCAA Lacrosse Week 3 review. I will be having a separate video for the D2 and D3 games. And also, if you're wondering why I didn't cover Loyola and Hopkins, that was my game of the week, so that's getting my special game feature, which will be up very soon. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys that and talking about that game. Definitely a good game for Loyola. But as always, if you liked this video, please like it and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It really helps grow up the channel, gets out more information on the game, and really lets people know what happened in the game. They get some analysis. But if you want more content like this, please follow me on Twitter or Instagram. It's at the same username, logical_lacrosse. I also have a website with more content like this, written versions of my YouTube videos and stuff like that at www.logicallacrosse.com. You can find me on Google, so you can just Google it. You don't have to type in the whole www. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a good rest of your day.